Last week we questioned why on earth did they get rid of everyone's favourite Scotsman, David Tennant, and replace him with everyone's favourite Liverpudlian. Is he from Liverpool?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Peter SerafinoList. And here is the answer. There's a really good reason why the How to Train Your Dragon live-action remake doesn't feature David Tennant. Tennant previously voiced Snoutlout's father, Spitelout Jorgensen, in the animated movie, but was replaced by Peter SerafinoList, aka the voice of Darth Maul in Star Wars Episode 1, for the live action. Explaining the decision, the new movie's writer-director Dean DeBlois said that Tennant's physicality didn't match that of Spitelout, who he described as being big and brawny.
Now, we've met Brian Butterfield, who, I don't want to break any illusions here, is played by Peter SerafinoList. Did he strike you as a big and brawny fella?
Even when wearing the Brian Butterfield fat suit, he was quite small.
Yeah.
He was tall.
Yeah, sure.
But I definitely would not say brawny, and even in a fat suit, he wasn't particularly... In fact, we made the remark when Butterfield walked out that, wow, Brian's been on a diet because he doesn't look as big as in the old commercials. So, yeah. Interesting choice there. I also find it fascinating that apparently Peter SerafinoList's one claim to fame is the voice of Darth Maul in Star Wars, where he has like one line.
Yeah, and then he didn't get like dubbed over in most edits anyway.
Yeah. Literally. We love you, Peter. Hello and welcome to Movie on Up, episode 72, with your hosts, me, a very hot and bothered Alfie Walker,
and me, a sweltering Adam Barlow. It's too hot, mate. It's too hot. Please, make it stop.
I'm sat in... So, as we all know, the house is being done up, blah, 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 blah. I am at my nan's, and when we moved here, we were given the garage room, basically. It's a garage that they've turned into a proper room, and this is like our little office. And bear in mind, it's like a flat-roofed like office, and it's been sat in the sun all day. Ooh. And I reckon it's probably about 30 degrees in here, so
oh my god,
it's well hot, mate.
I'm
so warm.
And I don't want to bring race into this, but Alfie, you are ginger, so I mean, how are you faring?
Not very well, let me tell you that. The building at work, right, the building that I have to go and work in all day from 9 to 5 is a glass is that literally a greenhouse. It's a whole building made of glass, and there is aircon, but the aircon vent above where I sit is broken and has also been blowing out hot air all day. It's been insufferable, mate. No joke. In normal parts of that office, because it's a glass house, it was 27, 28 degrees. So I can't even imagine how warm it was where I was sat.
Good lord.
So I'm going to have a nice cold shower after this. How are you dealing with the heat, Adam?
Yeah, kind of similar to you, mate. I mean, I'm sure there's I'm sure there's better traps to be in Saw than in the temperature in the UK right now. I mean, my goodness. It's unbearable. And do you mind if I have a quick rant about conservatories? Because remember when there was that company maybe 15 years ago that would always door knock you, and it'd be like, I can't remember what it was called. It was like Apple, or not Apple the phone, but there was some, or maybe it's like Adams that lived. It was either Adam or Apple, or had something to do with that. And they door knock you, being like, hiya, are you in at the moment? Yeah. I'm just wondering, have you got a conservatory by any chance? Or they check Google Maps and see if you haven't got a conservatory, and then deliberately target you for like 3 times a week. And everyone in the UK, I'm convinced, about 90% of us was tricked by this cult into buying a conservatory that is freezing cold, like literally unbearably cold in the winter, and then completely useless in the summer because it's boiling hot. What is the point in them?
Yeah. I've never got conservatories. We had one on our house when I was younger, and it got to a point where my parents literally went, "Why the fuck do we have this? We can't even use it." Like you said, in the winter, it's too cold to sit out there. In the summer, it's too hot to sit in. It's a useless thing. So we knocked it down and got an extension, which is better. But you're right. It's such a common thing to go around someone's house, and if it's like a 90s 2000s ex-council house, they've all got conservatories.
It's like in Harry Potter, they've got it on the new Lego set for Pivot Drive.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, I could get that set and you could build all my mates' houses.
In that little set, did you see that they've got a 1x1 tile of a British plug socket? It's so cool.
Oh, really? Oh, that is cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like around the skirtings of the set, there's a little 1x1 tile that's got like the 3-pin plug socket.
Oh, that's cute.
So cool. Designed by, which one is it? The guy, the one that went to the same school as me or whatever.
Yeah, I know the guy, yeah.
God, I can't remember his name. Oh, dream job, mate?
Yeah, oh man, in another world. Anyway, on today's episode, we are going to be discussing a handful of random things, I suppose. We've got a film review of The Ballad of Wallis Island, a film starring Tim Key. For those that don't know, that's sidekick Simon in the Alan Partridge series. He's a fantastic actor, a really, really great comedic presence in this film. So I'm excited to talk about that. It's a very pleasant surprise. And then I'm also going to give a quick overview. I mean, Alfie, you've also seen 28 Days and 28 Weeks. But I also, very last minute, went to see 28 Years today, 28 years later, to give it its full title. And I'll give my brief impressions of that. We're going to do either a bonus episode or properly review it next week, depending on how much time we have this weekend. But yeah, keep an eye out for the full review coming later, but you will hear my initial thoughts on 28 Years Later in this episode.
And it's also worth mentioning while we're here that I believe, is it tomorrow, celebrates the 50th anniversary of my favourite film of all time, right?
Yeah, that's right. The day this podcast comes out, it's the 50th anniversary of Jaws.
We originally had a plan to watch Jaws 4 just because it stars Michael Caine, and it's a bit of like an MCU, or what's our cinematic universe called? The MCU sort of crossover with Jaws and Michael Caine. But we both have just been too busy and working, so we never got round to it. I am determined to watch it though, because I'd love to see it. Apparently it's awful.
Yeah, me too.
There was that clip of Michael Caine from a while ago where he's like, someone asks him about it and he's like, "Oh, I just needed a new house" or something. Like, he just did it to get some money. So respect the hustle there, Michael. But yeah, if you want to listen to our review where we do talk about Jaws and the first time that Adam actually watched it, you can check out episode 64. It's the one where we talk about Black Mirror and The Amateur, and there's a weird AI sort of cover art for that episode. And that's the episode where we talk about Jaws. So please, if you're interested in hearing our thoughts about Jaws, my favourite film of all time, and Adam loved it too, yeah, please go check out episode 64.
Yeah, it was a great episode to record, and hopefully you'll also like it if you missed it at the time. Let's get into it though. Let's start with an overview of the 28 Days, Weeks, Years franchise.
I'm a huge fan of horror, as we all know. Adam never used to, but he's slowly dipping his hairy hobbit toes into horror. So 28 Days has always been one of my favourite horror films. I think it's an absolute classic. Danny Boyle, Alex Garland. It is such a sort of iconic piece of film. And yeah, and obviously, yeah, we've also got 20 Weeks Later. So Adam had never seen either of these, and then he watched, well, both of those and the new one in the space of like a week, which is pretty intense. I don't know if you want to start, Adam, since you're the one who's sort of encountered this franchise for the first time. How did you find, let's start with 28 Days. How did you find it?
I really liked 28 Days Later. I knew obviously it had a lot of gravitas around it, I suppose that's fair to say. It's hugely influential in the zombie genre. I know they're not technically zombies, but I'm sure they're called zombies in the film, so I'm going to call them zombies, but the infected, that whole narrative, of it being humans, the fact that they could run was a new thing as I understand it, and it was shot on a shoestring budget, shot with God knows what, shot with your mum's
Nokia through 37.
yeah, presumably. So it does look dreadful. Although, well, no, the cinematography is good. Let me stress that, but the actual quality of the image is low res, right? But I think it adds quite nicely to the apocalyptic feel of it. I think Cillian Murphy's excellent in it. I think this was kind of his first major role, or the role that made him a household name. And you can totally see why he has great range in this film. And what did strike me that I wasn't expecting was how kind of serene and calm the film was. It almost isn't a horror film. It's the more horrific things that happen in this film are surrounding the human characters in the latter half, right? Which I think is just such a great subversion of the genre, and it kept me on my toes. I really liked it. I think it held up really well.
See, that's the thing as well, that being in the, when was this released? Sorry, was it like 2004?
2002.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So that's the thing there, is that at the time the people being evil was the subversion. You do that now, and that's the most overplayed thing ever. The Walking Dead did that for like 13 seasons. Every zombie show ever now does that. Zombies aren't the real problem, it's the people. But at the time, that was a subversion, and Christopher Ecclescakes does amazing in that role. So cool, because that will be right. I'm trying to think. Do you reckon that's at the same time as him being Doctor Who? It's got to be around that time, right?
Yeah, I reckon you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's quite a cool thing for him to be in both of those quite British projects. And you obviously said about the zombies there, how they're obviously not really zombies, but there's a great interview of Alec Garland on, I think it's GQ, on their YouTube channel, where he just goes through all of his films, and he talks about writing the script for 28 Days, and he says how much of it influenced the Resident Evil franchise had on him writing it, and how he based a lot of it off the first film, the Resident Evil game, and then based a lot of this film off that, which is really cool for someone like me who is a huge fan of that franchise as well. But yeah, I'm not sure if you're aware of this either, it's worth saying, but the choice to shoot it on digital was purposeful as well. I don't know if you noticed it, but the final scene after he wakes up and they crash the car and then it switches to them in the field, that final bit is filmed on film, and it's really, really high quality. And then obviously the rest of the film is, like we said, filmed on awful digital camera sort of thing, so the quality is really bad. But you're right about the cinematography, because even though the quality is so bad, and that's obviously, like you said, a purposeful choice to give it that feel, it's such a well shot film in the way that the cinematography and what you can see through the dodgy digital grain is really quite cool. And the shots of like London in the opening, and as they're doing their journey through, I think it's so smartly done.
I agree. Do you want to talk about 28 Weeks now?
Yeah, definitely. So this is a little bit of a subversion there. I think it's sort of when, let's throw the Americans in this almost. We've got Idris Elba, we've got Jeremy Renner. Yeah, quite a different style of film. Other than the opening of it, I'd say the opening of 28 Weeks is like proper horror film up there, like such a cool opening to a film. And then it takes a bit of a turn, in my opinion. But yeah, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I understand this film was still enjoyed, but to a lesser extent than 28 Days Later is. I think it's pretty clear why. I think this is just... Somehow I found it to be really boring, and I actually think the characters weren't very likeable. I didn't think... there's a particular scene about 2/3 of the way in, I'd say, or 3/4 of the way in. Runtime flies by, for better or worse. I think it's paced oddly quickly, so it's sort of a bad film that's an hour and 40 minutes, but it flies by, so it's kind of quite gracious, really. But the scene where they're sneaking around the underground, and you've got Rose Byrne's character, who, a good actress in other things, is looking and like using the night vision on the gun, looking through the scope and seeing the sort of dead bodies piling up on the escalators and things like that. And she's trying to direct the character played by Imogen Poots and the boy played by Macintosh Muggleton, which what a name.
Phenomenal name, my God.
I just said that in a really serious voice. Macintosh Muggleton. Okay. She's trying to direct those two through the underground, and she's there like, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Like screaming. I'm like, I know she's not trained as as someone who would go into combat. She's a scientist in the film, right? But she really did lose her head and like lose her cool, and everyone is just like flailing around. And
she's going down behind them as well.
Yeah.
When they're going down the stairs, she's going down behind the two kids, but using her scope to look in front of them. Like, no, why don't the kids just go behind you? It's so stupid.
Yeah.
I think that the thing is, the opening scene with Robert Carlyle is like amazing, where the horde of zombies burst through that house, and you've got like him abandoning his wife, and like that whole scene with him, I think, is so excellent, with him escaping on the boat. And that's like an iconic scene from that film. But I think that really is the only iconic scene from the film.
Yeah. I think Jeremy Renner as well, bless him, it's clearly one of those films that didn't work out for him, because I like Renner quite a bit. I know he's a bit of a sort of caricature in some ways, like he's just the American action hero. He was drafted in as a replacement for Jason Bourne. He was almost a replacement for Tom Cruise in the Mission Impossible franchise. He's always kind of dipping his toe in and being like, oh, look, I can be the generic American hero, almost like what Hawkeye is. He's just never really had a chance to...
Right.
He's never really had a chance to bring all that much to a role, off the top of my head anyway, which is a shame, because I do think he's likeable, but yeah, this is just one of those misfires from him.
I think, as I said, the opening scene is the only part that is personally up there with that first film. I think what about the twist, though, to be honest? You're saying that with Renner. Did you think he was going to get engulfed in a fireball about... I don't know, how far into the movie is it? It's quite early on, isn't it? You're right about the runtime as well. It really does fly by.
Yeah. The scene where he just sort of dies, I was like, oh, okay, I guess. I guess I didn't really care for any of the characters, really, in the way that I did in the first film. And I don't know... In some ways, I think the acting is not necessarily worse. I mean, we didn't even mention the girl in the first film that is abysmal. My goodness. There's a line where she's obviously taken a sedative to like calm her nerves, but even still, she's then like running away from zombies, and she's like, "Don't worry about me, I'm fine." Like,
yeah, when
talk about phoning it in.
Yeah, when she gives her the drugs, doesn't she, to like obviously numb her, and then she's like running about like, "I'm gonna be fine." Or when Brendan Gleeson gets absolutely obliterated, and she's like, "No, Dad."
Brilliant stuff. There's nothing quite as bad as that in 28 Weeks Later, but I just think it feels more commercial. It feels more less genuine. There's no sort of artistic drive behind this film, is there? I even think some of the plot decisions they make with saying that Catherine McCormack's character has immunity, but then not really going anywhere with it. It's a strange one.
And from what I'm aware, I mean, you can... I mean, no, don't spoil it for me, because I would like to go and see 28 Years Later fully blind. But from what I'm aware, 28 weeks basically doesn't count, and they've kind of ignored it. So... I mean, unless there's going to be a big surprise halfway through where we find out, oh wow, the zombies did get to Paris. But from what I'm aware, they've ignored that anyway, and that it's only the first one that sort of contributes. But I do think the first film is a real like good film, and it's such a time capsule as well, I find, of sort of filmmaking back then. And the digital is a shame, but I think it adds a certain charm to it, being that what it's trying to do. And yeah, you're spot on with the second one. It just feels like an American all action hero. It's just yeah, time to bring the Americans in to save the day kind of thing. And that's not at all what the first one's message was, or the first one's sort of ethos behind it. So I think it's a shame it went down that route. But if you're ready for it, Adam, take away. Let's talk about 28 Years. Like we said, I haven't seen it yet. It only came out today, I think. So I'm going to watch it over the weekend and we'll review it properly next week. But go through with some spoiler-free thoughts, Adam. Take it away.
I want to come out the gate and say this is my favourite of the three.
Wow, that's cool.
But, you know, with the caveat of obviously I only watched 28 Days about 3 days ago. So I've got no no sort of long-time love for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, 28 years later picks up, as you would imagine, 28 years after the outbreak of the infection. Yeah, there's no recurring characters. It's all sort of, as 28 Weeks is, it's a completely new sort of location in the UK, and it's a new cast of characters that you learn to care for. A brilliant cast, I'll say that. You've got Aaron Taylor-Johnson, who I know, Alfie, you're a big fan of.
Of course. Who isn't?
Who isn't? You've got Jodie Comer, who is fantastic. Nice. She's really got a bit of a smaller role, I would say, but she does a fantastic job. I'll just say that. I won't give any more details about what situation her character's in. Ralph Fiennes comes into it about halfway through, but is an absolute delight. I really like Ralph Fiennes. This is actually one of my favourite performances from him. He's incredibly charismatic. Cool. He's very quirky, and I loved him. He plays an important role as well, and sort of powers through with the message of the film, and it's actually really sad. I don't know if you've seen reviews say this. I actually properly teared up in this film as well. I was laughing at points, I was crying at points, I felt squeamish at other points. It's very violent, almost in a cartoony way, I think. They do some great little camera shots. I don't know if you've seen the behind the scenes things where they had like 30 iPhones rigged up. They basically do the kind of bullet time effect from The Matrix, where as one infected gets killed, like say if a bow and arrow shoots an arrow through their neck, it will like pause and like whip pan round them, and then the blood will squirt. It's really cool.
What an interesting thing. Yeah, what a stylistic choice. That is quite cool.
Yeah, definitely a lot of cool shots to enjoy. Oh yeah, and of course, yeah, so the lead of this film, believe it or not, isn't Aaron Taylor-Johnson. It's actually Alfie Williams, who is his son, named Spike. They all are basically living on this island that's thankfully surrounded by water. There's one causeway in the trailer that you see that they can get onto the mainland, but they have a rule where you can go there, but if you don't come back, we won't send anyone searching for you. So you're out there on your own, just for their safety and for the town's safety. And you get introduced to this, this town that is, it's almost like there hasn't even been a zombie outbreak. It just looks completely normal, apart from a couple of, water shortages and things like that, But Alfie Williams does a fantastic job of portraying this young boy who has been born, obviously, after the outbreak. So he's just lived in this scenario all his life. He goes across the mainland to try and get his first kill of an infected with his dad, Jamie, Aaron Taylor-Johnson. And it's brilliant. That's like kind of the first half of the film, and then it sort of switches up the plot a bit. Again, won't say anything about it. It's really good, very powerful, really sad. And I would just say, prepare yourself for the final scene, because it is so tonally wacko. I started laughing, and I don't know if that was intentional or what, but obviously this is the first in a new trilogy, with the second film coming out in January, I believe, directed by Neo DaCosta, I'm pretty sure. It's really...
What, next year?
Yeah, quick turnaround, yeah.
Wow, how interesting.
Yeah, so I'll just say that I really liked it. The last scene is completely left field. Again, we'll talk about it next time, but just prepare yourself for that and prepare to cry as well.
That's the main thing I've seen, is that it's a film in sort of two halves. I've heard most reviews I've seen online of the first half people are loving, the second half people not as much. But then I'm also seeing people raving about the whole thing, like you have there, basically. So that's good to know that you've enjoyed it. I'm really excited for it, and I think actually what you said there has got me more excited for it. And I'm incredibly intrigued by what you mean with the ending. So at least I can brace myself for that and maybe not be as shocked as you were. Am I right in thinking we got Jack O'Connell in there as well, the guy from Sinners?
Yes, in a very small role.
Oh, right. Okay. That's interesting. Right. Cool. I'm excited to watch it, mate. I'm going to catch it this weekend, I imagine on the Sunday. And then, yeah, we'll talk about it in depth next week, guys. Adam's got another review for us now. A quaint little British film again, right?
Yeah, that's right. Funnily enough, also set on an island. So there are some weird similarities between this and 28 Years Later, which I quite liked. Obviously, very, very different films. But to give you a quick overview of The Ballad of Wallis Island, stars Tim Key, who plays a character called Charles Heath. It's revealed very early on that he's very, very wealthy. He owns this big house on this island, fictional island, I believe. And he invites his favourite singer-songwriter, Herb Maguire, played by Tom Basden, another excellent UK comedian if you don't know him. He had a small role in... he played the brother-in-law in Afterlife with Ricky Gervais. And he's also got a fantastic show on BBC called Here We Go, where he writes, directs and stars in it. He's a fantastic actor. Tim Key and Tom actually used to be in a comedy troupe together, so that's how they know each other. So he gets invited to this island and is being paid £500,000 to do one gig and stay with Charles for the week. What he doesn't know is that Carey Mulligan, who plays Nell Mortimer, his old band member and sort of partner, who obviously they've fallen out, which is revealed in the film as to what happened. She's also been invited, but is being paid less money, which she also then finds out. So they both are kind of weirdly charmed, but also a little bit hesitant to get to know Charles. Tim Key doing his usual sort of quippy wordplay, bumbling idiot sort of role. He's so damn funny, so charming, so charismatic, and such a beautiful soul in this film. He really is the heart and soul of it. This film was written by both Tim Key and Tom Basden, and you can tell that from minute one, because it's just covered in their DNA. You know it's their sense of humour completely, and they know the characters they're playing. They've written it for themselves, of course, and they play it to a T. It's brilliant. It's loads of fun. It's got heart as well. Like I teared up at the end of it. There's something about seeing Tim Key looking sad that just hits me like a lorry. I'm sorry, I'm a weak man, but God, he's so damn enjoyable in this film. Like, it's absolutely my sense of humour, so it's properly up my street. It's obviously got a smaller release as well. It's only as you say, a small British film. I don't think even all the chain cinemas are playing it. I don't think the Odeon had many screenings of it at all, which is a sad thing, really. It came out last week. What else is there to say about it? Sean Clifford stars in it as well. She plays a little shopkeeper called Amanda on the island. And then you've also got an actor whose name I won't try and butcher, who plays Michael, who is Nell's boyfriend or husband, I think. So yeah, that's the situation there. There's only like 5 people in the cast, so it's very, very tight, very sort of nippy. It's only got an hour and 40-minute runtime, so it really whizzes by. Doesn't overstay its welcome at all. And actually, I think you'd be forgiven for thinking, oh, I can kind of tell where this film's going to go. But actually, it subverts your expectations in quite a nice way, where it isn't actually all happy-lovey-dovey at the end of it. It sort of doesn't quite all work out. It's still got an uplifting ending, but it's all kind of like, it's not the perfect ending that a different film, a lesser film, would have given you, if that makes sense. I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, look at it. It's got 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb. I know those are, unreliable for different reasons, but I just thought it was really properly compelling and just full of warmth, and I think I've not seen a film like this in a little while. I mean, if you compare it to something like The Salt Path, which again similarly relies on beautiful shots of the UK coastline and a small British cast. This is head and shoulders above that. I far preferred this every day of the week. And it was also similarly about, being lonely and to a certain degree about money, what to do if you don't have enough or what to do if you have too much. There's a great gag in here that I guess I'll say it because I think it caught me by surprise in the film and I loved it. But I will just spoil this one joke. Very early on, obviously, it's unlikely that Charles Heath has got this money through a sort of normal way. So I think it's revealed he used to be a doctor, but like just a regular GP, so nothing crazy. And he's like, yeah, but how have you got like millions of pounds? And then he walks Tom Basden through his house, and on the wall he's got a framed lottery slip. So he won the lottery, and then he's like, yeah, I travelled the world with my wife, who passes away in the film. Before the film starts, that's a big part of it as well. So yeah, travels the world with his wife, and then goes bankrupt. And then the camera slowly pans to the right, and there's another lottery, and he's won it again, which I just think is so damn stupid. I'm like, yeah, of course, I love it. Like, it really caught me off guard. It's just full of silly catchphrases and wordplay and bumbling Britishness. Second to none. I really liked it.
Friend of the show, Lewis Eyre, also really rated this, didn't he? I think I saw on his Instagram. What's his website called? I can't remember. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he really rated this film as well. And it seems to be getting a lot of love. And like you said, those reviews are mega on IMDb. And like you say, they're not super reliable, but that's a high score, I must say.
Yeah, it's not like a crazy reinvent the wheel kind of film, and it's probably not going to be in my top 10 at the end of the year. But in terms of films that I'd happily rewatch and something to stick on with the parents or with your brothers or whoever it might be, with your family, you could put it on over the Christmas period if you miss it now. I'm sure it'll be on streaming or on DVD by then. Throw it on, and I don't think anyone will complain.
Yeah, just a good film, just one of those where you're happy sitting down and watching it.
Absolutely.
Adam's going to talk about a film that he caught at the cinema last night. Bit of a random one, if I'm honest. We're just trying to fill a little bit of time, so won't lie. Adam went and caught Brokeback Mountain for the first time in the cinema, nonetheless. So go on, Adam. What did you think about it?
Yeah, again, another film similar to 28 Days Later that has sort of reinvented a corner of cinema, right? In this case, queer cinema. And I mean, some naysayers kind of use it as a punchline. It's often referenced, and people say, all right, Brokeback Mountain. Yeah, there's always jokes about the title of the film and about the characters in it and whatnot, which is a shame because I think it's a very earnest movie. And when I was watching it, I was like, yeah, this really does work. It's not campy. Well, it is camp, but it's not done in any sort of silly way. It's very, it's a great romance story, as it should be.
It's incredibly tasteful, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I can't help but feel a little bit disappointed with it, though, just because I think, well, it was for its 20th anniversary, right? So, I mean, in the 20 years since, we've had films that are more daring with that subject matter, namely Saltburn, that you and I were discussing last night.
Well, yeah, that's what we said, wasn't it? It was like it isn't that gay now in retrospect. Like, it really isn't. And I feel that Saltburn was more gay than that, and it's not even a gay film. And you said about the Andrew Scott Paul Mescal one, All of Us Strangers, didn't you? Ones like that have definitely punched the way. But for the time, I think this was quite a cornerstone and quite impressive to be on the big screen.
Yeah, I can see why, for sure. I think also with the hindsight of knowing it goes on to win 3 Oscars, maybe my expectations were quite high for it. And it was also something I've had on my watch list for probably 8-9 years now. I mean, I've been meaning to catch this for ages, and I finally got around to it. I'm like, yeah, it was okay. I enjoyed it. Would I watch it again? Maybe not. although, you know, that's not without saying, you know, Jake Gyllenhaal, fantastic. Heath Ledger, of course, brilliant. What a lot, like every time I see a film, I've only actually seen him in this and, you know, The Dark Knight, but those are two powerhouse performances, and I know he's done other better stuff or, you know, other stuff that's just as good. I'm like, God, the fact that we lost that actor so young is a real shame, because imagine where he'd be now.
You obviously said about other films that have come since and pushed the genre forward more. Like you're spot on. And I just typed in gay films on Google, and Brokeback Mountain is still the one that comes up first. So it's clearly the major one. And I always see it come up on TikTok and come up on Instagram when there's a clip of Heath Ledger defending, like, a journalist in the crowd in America is like, why the fuck are you doing this film? It's gross. And Heath Ledger like pipes up and starts saying like, no, you're disappointing, and really has a go back at this journalist.
Yeah. And
it's a great clip, and I always see it pop up. It's quite referred to, but yeah, you're spot on. Like, for the time, I think it was an insane sort of step forward, and I think it potentially paved the way. I think without it, you definitely wouldn't get stuff like Call Me by Your Name and Moonlight and yeah, All of Us Strangers. These films that are so like huge now. Yeah, it's definitely a cornerstone of that genre, and it's good that you've watched it. Like you've said, it's been on your list for so long. It's just one of those ones that you have to watch. So it's one of many that you've managed to tick off, mate, because I'm sure there are plenty more films on that list. Yeah,
that's very true. Yeah, you're totally right with it paving the way. I'm glad I've seen it, and as you say, I'm glad I've ticked it off the list. If you're listening to this podcast and you haven't seen Brokeback Mountain, go and watch it. Like, it's kind of one of those films everyone, I imagine, would get round to at some point, unless you are a bigot. Yeah, so it's just one of those films I think everyone should watch once in their lifetime, just to understand, you know, that part of life a bit more, I guess. Side note, we should bring back cowboy hats. I know this is an American thing, and I know it's only in certain states, but God, if I had a cowboy hat, I'd protect it like it was a child. The way that everyone's got one, and there's variations in different colours and different sizes. I am still talking about cowboy hats here. I really, really want a cowboy hat.
Imagine the confidence that you'd have if you got to strut down Bournemouth High Street with a cowboy hat on. I can picture it now.
I want to do that. I want to walk into a Starbucks and be like, "Hey, regular order, please," and just tip my hat, spit in a bucket, and leave.
What do you usually order? Something really, like, can I have a triple chocolate this and that with caramel sauce and mint syrup? Like, saying that in a cowboy hat. When me and Jake went to the Czech Republic the other weekend for a family thing, and on the plane home, Beyonce was playing in England on the day we arrived back.
Yes, yeah.
And then there was someone who we saw in the airport, right? So he's obviously Czech, and he was going to the show in London, I presume just for the day, and then getting a flight back at night, because he had no bag or anything, but he was just dressed, right, in really short little jean shorts, full cowboy boots, top, and a hat, and a cowboy hat, and he was walking through through the airport with it, and then sat down in the waiting room, went through security, and got on our plane, and then got on the transport as well from Stansted to London in this just cowboy outfit. And he looked like an absolute clown, I won't lie. But it was funny, and like, props to him. Like, yeah, phenomenal.
Ladies and gentlemen, you might have been thinking we'd forgotten this new segment. We debuted it last week without a jingle, although, Alfie, to be fair, you did your best, mate. But brace yourselves.
I just put the clip. Brian just goes, what does he say? I can't even remember. Thanks to the Butterfield diet plan. I need something in there. But yeah, as Adam says, brace yourselves.
It's time for this.
Oh, come on, stop messing around with your phone, get it?
Did I ask you?
Where have you hidden the Mona Lisa?
I love you, kitchen gun! Ridiculous. Kisses Lorraine. It's the Peter
SerafinoList.
To be honest, I don't think that's any of your business.
There we go. What a jingle. What a jingle.
What a jingle. That was insane. When Adam obviously said we need to make a jingle, and I said it absolutely needs to be clips of him edited together, and then just put in you saying list at the end of the Peter Serafinowicz bit. And then Adam came back 4 hours later with this audio file, and I was over the moon, like crying and laughing. Absolute props to you there, Adam. It's an amazing jingle. The fact A-list star has had the shitty Twiglet tub shaking for the past 70 episodes or 50 episodes. And then we talk about the Peter SerafinoList once, and you fully produce a full theme and jingle for it. My man, absolute props to you.
I mean, God knows the copyright. We don't have it, so... Peter SerafinoList and your team, if you're listening to this.
I don't think Peter does either, though, so...
It's all on YouTube. Sure, that's in the public domain, no? Yeah, my God. I had a great time making it, though. Let's play, then, our first round ever, really. First proper round of the Peter SerafinoList.
Cue jingle again.
We can't play it again.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, come on, stop messing around with your phone, get it?
Did I ask you?
Where have you hidden the Mona Lisa?
I love you, kitchen gun! Ridiculous. Kisses Lorraine. It's the Peter
List.
To be honest, I don't think that's any of your business.
Right.
Who are we adding to the Peter SerafinoList today? This is the first time jingle prepared. Who are we adding?
Alfie, we are adding Peter Serafinovich as Rafe Fiennes, because Rafe Fiennes in 28 Years Later is the most Rafe Fiennes has ever finds. He is... Oh, manners, oh, lovely, oh, hello, yes, well, no, but actually, oh, yes, but, oh. And it's absolutely spot on. I'm saying this as though he's doing an impression of Peter Serafinovich's impression of him, which maybe he is, but
Maybe he is, yeah.
God, it's a choice, and I love it. Don't get me wrong; he's one of the best parts of this new film. But my God, it did bring to mind the second he opened his mouth. I was like, "That's Peter Serafinovich's impression of him." So for that reason, we're adding him to the list.
Absolutely, get him on there.
So where do we reckon he deserves to go?
Give us a little reminder, Adam. What's the current ranking?
So we currently have... Oh, I remember I did it in just initials, so this will be a challenge to work out. So you got Peter Serafinovich at the top, then Brian Butterfield, then, P.S. as Michael Caine, and then we have a little rung that we drop, and then we've got S.J. Who's that? Oh, Snotlout Jorgensen, of course.
Snotlout Jorgensen, of course, Adam. Jesus Christ. I'm going to say we put Rafe Fiennes either just under Michael or potentially on top of Michael.
It's tough to say. I think of all the impressions he does in this show, in the Peter Serafinovich show, I think Michael Caine and Rafe Fiennes are my favourites, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Oh no, I do really like his Terry Wogan, but that's a discussion for another day. I think his Rafe Fiennes is as good as Michael Caine, and I think I find
It's
myself...
Paul McCartney.
Oh, it's Paul McCartney, yes. Yeah, you're right.
God, you just made me remember this show. My God.
The Ringo Starr bit as well that he does. It's like, and I just went upstairs and I played the bloody drums. So good.
You know that when that Beatles biopic comes out, we are adding the Peter Serafinovich version of the Beatles to the Peter SerafinoList that week.
God, we're sorted. We are sorted for that whole episode. That's crazy. Man, so I think, he goes on the same level as the Caine impression, simply because I think it's accurate, it's hilarious, and it's been proved again just how on point it is today.
Absolutely. Chuck him on that list. Thank you for listening to the podcast this week. That was episode 72. Bit of a random one there, bit of bits and bobs, odd stuff. But like we said, next week we'll be tackling 28 Years Later in full, either in the episode or a bonus one. Then we're going to be talking about Elio as well, the new Disney film, the new Pixar film, which I think it looks quite good actually. I think it looks quite cute and fun. And then we're also going to be talking about F1, which, well, Adam definitely is, and hopefully I am. We'll be making our way to a screening in the Cineworld in London for that, so fingers crossed. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can do. It's hello@movieonup.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts on any of the films we spoke about, or any kind of information, really. Tell us what you think of the podcast, what you think of us, what sort of topics we should talk about, anything like that, any correspondence. Once again, it's hello@movieonup.com.
Lovely stuff. You can also get in contact with us via the socials. Instagram and TikTok, our handles are both @movieonup.
There we go. Smashed it out the park, mate. I'm absolutely drenched in sweat in this room. I'm going to go have a cold shower immediately. I'm not just drenched in sweat because of the podcast recording. I just get excited. No, it's really, really warm in here, I promise.
I'm drenched in sweat because of the podcast, but maybe that's just me. I wake up in cold sweats, Alfie, just going @movieonup on both Instagram and TikTok. On both Instagram and TikTok.
Hello. the Peter SerafinoList. The Peter SerafinoList.
A-list star in our impressions repertoire.
The box of twiglets in your dream.
Gotta think of a cold open. Make it sound authentic.
I don't know how to end the episode.